Just to start with, how's Josh Kennedy feeling, and is he any chance of playing tomorrow at all?
He won't play. He's feeling good. So he's passed all the cog state stuff. He's actually available, but the AFL protocol is restricting us playing him, which, it might not be the worst thing anyway. But gladly, he's feeling really good. So, that's right. I don't think when you do the protocols, you anticipate short times between games. So I think there's a standard 6 or 7 days between playing if you have concussion. So he won't play this week, but he might have needed a rest anyway in the next month. So we'll take this opportunity to not play him.
Jamie Cripps obviously heading back to Perth. Really exciting news for him. Do you think he'll come back to Queensland? How do you think he'll?
It's his first child. It was due in October, and it might have been coming a little bit earlier. And then so we thought we'd get him for a few games or a few weeks. Because of the quarantine measures you got to have when you go back, it needs to be an extra couple of weeks. So, he got some news pretty early on that, perhaps things were moving a bit quicker than we even thought. So he's going back for that. So that'll take its natural course. And, I don't think we'll get him back to before finals. I wouldn't have thought. By the time you have a couple of weeks in quarantine, perhaps have the baby, everything goes well, we get to see him back, and then I don't know what the quarantine is when he comes back here. So, we're planning to not have him for a few weeks, which is really exciting for him and a few issues for us.
Yeah, so a couple of big premiership forwards, I guess, to replace at least just for tomorrow night. Who are you looking at to come in for those two guys?
Yeah, well, it'll be a bit of a different looking forward line. With obviously without Willie and Venables and Kennedy and Cripper. It's amazing how the team's changed. I think I was looking at our semi-final side and comparing it to a team from a few weeks ago, and there's 9 changes. So things evolve. Players get opportunity. We might have to play a few players in different positions this week, and we'll still have a strong side, and we're still confident we can perform at our best.
Well, Adam, at the moment, with the injuries and the number of young guys you've got in the team and how different it's been, is this the most vulnerable you would have been for a while?
How do you determine what vulnerable means? I mean, we've got a system in place. We've got a lot of players who play important roles, and then we've got our best players. You need talent and you need good experience to win most weeks. But we've done it before. We've done it before without Josh in the side, and some of our senior players not being available with Elliot and Luke Shuey earlier in the year, and Jack Redden. All these guys have sort of come in and out. It's when you get a cluster, it becomes challenging. So, but that's why you have 40 odd on your list. You get tested out at stages, and it's our turn.
Does the injuries at the moment and the unavailabilities mean that you're just not in a position to even consider resting anyone, or is that still a prospect for tomorrow? Yeah,
we've sort of been taking that on how the players are pulling up and how they're feeling. So at this stage, we haven't had anyone who's pulled up, really, really sore. I mean, we didn't play Oscar Allen and Jacko Nelson last week, and they were a little bit sore. With a 4-day break, we just thought it wasn't going to work for us. So 5-day break into this game. Everyone trained today. It was a pretty good session, good energy. We're not training a lot of recovery, but it's 25 degrees here. There's a good vibe out in the track, so hopefully that carries on to tomorrow night.
That being said, Adam, Nick Nat-Louis, how's he tracking?
Yeah, well, he's one that you do look at after the game and just see how he pulls up. And we thought it was a calculated risk to play him on the 4-day break with the travel. Probably in the back of our heads, we thought, well, that might be a tough one to get up for. But his recovery and the way he's prepared, he was fine to go. So we played him, and the same thing happened this week. We look at how he pulled up. Is he going to get through every game? Well, that'll be a challenge. Do we need to get in front of it a little bit at some stage? But at the moment, his numbers and the way he's presenting on a Monday after a game, whatever day that is, tells us he's okay. So, but we'll assess that after this week. Hopefully, he gets through that pretty well. But it'll be an assessment week to week. Same with I suppose same with Shannon Hearn. Josh, we've sort of taken care of itself. Who else would be vulnerable? The older guys, I suppose, are the guys with injuries that are susceptible to shorter breaks.
So given selection day on Monday was a bit weird, but can you give us a ballpark as to how many changes you're looking at?
I think we'll make 4 changes is the ballpark. So, and obviously Josh and Cripps are 2 that won't play. And then and we've got Redden available and Oscar Allen available as well. We've got Jackson Nelson available. So, we'll work through that.
Elliot Yeo joined the team yesterday, I think. How's he enjoying being back among the group, and what's the latest on his recovery?
He got back last night. The CEO picked him up from the airport. That would have been a good hour drive down from Brisbane. And he was crook for a few days, really crook. So he's separate that from his issues with his groins. So it was meant to be time off legs anyway. So he went for a jog yesterday and put up okay. So we're now assessing, how long the rebuild's going to be. So for every day that he doesn't do anything, there'll be a day where he's got to rebuild it. So we sort of thought it'd be 2 weeks of rest and 2 weeks of rebuild, and we're just about at that time where we need to start seeing if he can handle some running and change of direction. So that'll be on track for this week. So we'll test him out, and if he's right, we'll keep pushing. If he's not right, we'll have to wait a little bit more. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't actually. I just know it's been protocols from the AFL mean he can't play. So whether that's because he couldn't come back on, and definitely not through the testing, because we've had plenty of situations where we've done the Cog State test later in the week and they pass it and they play. So he's already okay for that. So it was more around the protocols the AFL have set. I might be slightly speaking out of school. I'm not 100% over it. I just know he's not available. And once I hear that, it's like, okay, we'll move on. As much as Josh is campaigning, I don't think he can campaign this one.
Can you talk to us a bit about what your forward line might do? You said Liam Ryan might go deep. You bring Oscar Allen in and stuff. What are your fans going to be looking at tomorrow night when they sort of say, well, this is probably going to look a bit different?
Probably a glimpse of the future, really. I think Bailey Williams, Oscar Allen, Jack Darling, Jack's obviously a well-established player. He's kicked 400 goals for us, but what is he, 26, 27? Oscar's 21 and Bailey's 19, 20. So as much as we love Josh and, I want him to play forever, that when the time comes, hopefully we've got some players who can step in and fill the void, albeit it'll be a huge one to fill. So there'll be probably a little glimpse of the future, which I think our fans love to see. And, we like getting some kids in our side, and hopefully we can still win while we do that. And look, to be honest, when you do that, you sort of, Josh Rotham, Tom Cole and Jackson Nelson, those types, it sort of clicks after 40 or 50 games, and hopefully we're getting that with those young fellas. And Oscar Allen's probably close to 30 games now, and Bailey's just at the start. So, yeah, glimpse of the future with our forward line. Our high half forward line is a different kettle of fish. I'm not quite sure what you're going to see there. So you'll see an eclectic group that are really keen to put some pressure on and hopefully kick some goals.
And on radio on the weekend, you mentioned Lewis Jenner's name as a chance to be getting quite close. Is he will he play this week? Can you tell us at all? Is he extremely close to playing this week? What can you tell us?
Yeah, he's in really good spirits. He's in our squad. He trained today with us. So, we've got a decision to make this afternoon before we put the side in. We've got obviously Jackson Nelson as well, who's a defender, who's available, and we've got a good, healthy back half. So we'll work through that. Will Schofield's in a good space, fit, ready to go, and Harry Edwards as well. So, yeah, we'll make that call this afternoon. But I'd say there'll be some guys playing in different positions. We don't really have a choice with in particular, our high half forwards. We're a bit light on with going into the season without a Venables or Rioli. Jones goes down about a month ago, and then Cripps are going home. So there's a few spots there available for our boys. We've had a lot of guys put their hand up this week for the job too.
Adam, what did you think of Joe Danaher's return to footy the other night?
Pretty good. Hopefully he's a bit sore and he might need another week off just to manage his body to get him through the year. He's touched us up before. I think it was Eddie had a couple of years ago. He had a really good day, and that was probably the last time we all saw him. So it's great to see him playing, to be honest, and to see the really good players of the game perform at their best is, especially key forwards. We're all privileged to see at West Coast some really talented tall forwards play, and I think that's what gets bums on seats and eyes on screen. So yeah, good for the competition he's playing. Not great for us. So yeah, that'll be something we've got to work through.
Is Lewis Jetta in the forward line even a consideration for you?
Yeah, I think we need to look at it. Yeah, he started as a forward, so he's only been a half-back for a couple of years. I think he kicked 40-odd goals in a season back at the Swans. So we recruited him for, I think it was the wing, maybe, half forward, and then we pretty quickly realised that the game had moved a little bit, and we tried him as a half-back. He embraced that, and he became a really good rebounding defender. He's now competing with Liam Duggan and Tommy Cole and Rotham and Nelson, so he's put his hand up to play there, but that doesn't mean that's going to happen. So we'll work through that this afternoon.
Adam, when you bring in some of the guys that maybe haven't had a chance at AFL level as much this season, what is the balancing act in terms of match fitness for those guys when they're only playing 14 or 14 scrimmages and then they bring it up to AFL level?
Yeah, we're the same as everyone else, I suppose. So looking at this condensed fixture in the next few weeks, you do look at the sides. If you both have a 4 or 5 day break, you're even level playing field. The scrimmages are the same. Quite often there's 3 clubs trying to get together. They just want to compete. So whether it's 9v9 or 14v14, they just want to compete and play football. So yeah, look, that's a balancing act. We've actually I think we had 5 players with under 10 games experience last week, which that wouldn't have happened for a long time. We've been at the top end of average age and experience. So yeah, there'll be some ups and downs with their form, which is the way it is. But we think they've got some good talent, and then getting some games into these guys is, if that's the very least that happens, then that's a good thing.
Just on Essendon, they had a pretty average run before the win last week. What are their danger areas, and what do you have to guard against the Bombers on tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, you watch the second half, you wouldn't think their form's been too bad. The dominance in the middle with the stoppages, I think they're plus 14 at centre clearances. A really aggressive attacking ball movement style that it's hard to stop. We saw a bit of it with Richmond as well. The overlap handball they get and the run and carry they get off their back half is dangerous. It's hard to stop. So that's there's a few things there that we've got to really take care of, and they've got talent. You look at their names on paper, it's as good as anyone's. So yeah, it's and a lot to play for this week. I think we all know where the season's heading. It's getting real tight. So yeah, this game's huge for us.
There's been some discussion about potentially round 18 being back in Perth. Do you allow yourself to dream of one of a last home game?
Well, the club's working through that with North. Actually, North are staying here at the at Sanctuary Cove along with GWS. It's getting a bit tight. So the club will work through that. We'll just take whatever they give us. Obviously it'd be great to play at home in front of a crowd, but doesn't worry me. If we can get the game there, we'd love it for our fans and supporters. And obviously playing at home, we'll take that. But if it's here, it's here. So we'll wait and see what the AFL says and try and work through that as soon as we can.